I'm not convinced that there could be a secession of any portion of this country from the country itself without resulting in some kind of violence. But I'm curious, Jeff, what do you think? I mean,
I 100% agree with you. If there was a secession, we would have violence, just the nature of people. You know, there are going to be, like you mentioned, there are going to be people in California that want to leave and people that don't want to leave. I think like the core of what the secessionist movement is, it says that we as people are not represented in our country. We don't have freedom. We can't do what we want. And I think the answer to that is not necessarily secession, but a decentralized power structure. So in Federalist number 10, Madison talks a lot about factions and like what's the best way to control factions. And his answer is to have more factions. And we talk about the Civil War. What led to the Civil War? Everybody always talks about slavery, but why was slavery able to be kept and then advanced and preserved? And the answer is the Three-Fifths Compromise. The Three-Fifths Compromise gave the slaveholders significantly more power in Congress than the non-slave holders. So they were able to use that power to advance their cause and advance the causes of their party. And what this did is it created a massive divide, regardless of whether you wanted slavery or not. Maybe you disagreed with the slaveholders on other policies, but you had no power to stop them. So it just created more of a problem.
In a modern context, with California, the issue of illegal immigration is giving disproportionate power to blue states. They're getting extra congressional districts and electoral college votes based on people who are not even citizens of this country, who are not paying into the same in the same way as many others. We often hear arguments that, but they do pay taxes. Well, of course, everybody pays sales tax. There's a lot of taxes you'll pay no matter what you do when you're buying gas or whatever. But in terms of paying taxes to the same degree as your average American citizen, they're not. And so for those that aren't familiar with this, I know a lot of people who listen to this probably do, but I'll explain. California sanctuary state. There's many other jurisdictions that are sanctuary jurisdictions. What that means is they will not cooperate with the federal government on deportation or apprehension of non-citizens who have illegally entered the country or who have remained here illegally beyond their permits. The census counts those individuals as residents. Donald Trump wanted there to be a citizenship question on the census, and that was blocked basically. I think even the Supreme Court said no. And so what happens then is it has been estimated by various organizations it could be as low as 1 extra congressional seat in California and as high as 7. It is estimated, worst case scenario, California gets 7 extra votes in the Electoral College for president because of the non-citizens who have illegally entered the country, violating our laws, and don't need to vote. That's there. So it's fascinating. You bring up the Three-Fifths Compromise, that it disproportionately empowers these slave states in Congress, and we're seeing something not too dissimilar right now with the illegal immigration crisis, the border crisis that everyone agrees on. This is giving disproportionate power to the Democrats once again.
There's a reason for that, and the reason of that is the Permanent Appropriation Act of 1929. So in leading up after the Civil War and after the Gilded Age, or during the Gilded Age, immigration became a major part of American society, and it started to give more power to the northern states, the same way that the slaveholders were able to first import slaves and then grow slavery inside of their states and gain power. The northern states were able to do that through immigration. And you had this massive disagreement because the House is fixed at 435 because of this act. But before that, it grew with the population to maintain a decentralized power structure to give people a voice in their government. But we capped it in 1929, and we capped it for that exact same, that reason that you just brought up is the fact that they couldn't decide who was supposed to be counted for purposes of apportionment. Was it supposed to be just American citizens, or was it supposed to be all persons? There was an argument on each side of it. It got stalemated in Congress for over 10 years, wow. And eventually they just kicked the problem to the executive. They wrote this temporary act, which became permanent because they just stopped doing it. But ultimately, that's the answer right there. Is it's Congress's job to apportion representatives to the people so they can actually run their government, and they've consolidated that power into themselves.